Greetings and welcome to our presentation on sourcing. We are pleased you have selected our program to make you more acquainted with this purchasing management practice. As a purchasing professional, understanding the components of sourcing products, equipment, and materials is important to successfully performing your purchasing responsibilities. This presentation will define and discuss the components of sourcing. Sourcing can be defined as finding, selecting, contracting, and managing the best possible source of supply on a worldwide basis. Sourcing requires a purchasing professional to perform research about the item or items needed for the organization to function. Sourcing is a vital part of an organization's success. More and more organizations are sourcing not only parts, but also services. There are four important components of sourcing mentioned in the definition. These components are finding, selecting, contracting, and managing. These components describe the duties that have to take place in order to properly perform the sourcing task. Finding is a first step to sourcing. This step starts once a purchasing professional understands what needs to be sourced. This information may include an engineering drawing, a description of work, a bill of material, or some other form of information for the purchasing professional. At this point, the purchasing professional has to find various things. They must find all the information that can be obtained about this part. Finding is a research component. It is also the part where the purchasing professional finds not only information but also potential suppliers to source from. This could require additional research and even looking at non-domestic suppliers. This is the stage where the request for quote and the exchange of information with potential suppliers happens. Once a satisfactory number of potential suppliers have been given the opportunity to submit their bids for the part or service, the next step is to select the supplier that would be performing the work for the organization. When selecting the supplier to perform the work, there are certain things to be considered. Usually the first thing to catch the attention of the purchasing professional is that the quoted price for the part or service. This could include tooling costs, freight costs, setup costs, and other fees associated with getting the part produced. The supplier is responsible for revealing the costs in detail on the proposal. Neither the supplier or the purchasing professional wants any surprises when it comes to costs. Once the decision has been made pertaining to which supplier will be awarded the work, the purchase order will be issued to the winning bid. This is the contracting stage of the process. The contracting stage is the seal the deal stage. The agreement, or the purchase order, is signed and issued by the purchasing professional. Once the selected supplier has been given the purchase order, they should confirm receipt and acceptance of the offer. The agreement should be reviewed by both parties, and any delivery schedules, review schedules, etc. should be discussed and agreed upon. The contracting process entails starting to partner with the supplier to get the needed product or service for the organization. The contracting process binds the agreement between the purchaser and the supplier. This is probably one of the most important steps in the sourcing process. This is a process that, in a sense, binds the purchaser's organization with the supplier's organization. The supplier's ability to support the purchasing organization's needs will have an effect on the purchasing organization's ability to perform. The final step in sourcing is managing the supplier. This includes the supplier's performance and whether the deadlines and delivery dates are being met. Also, there should be audits, whether formal or informal, and they should be performed of the supplier's organization. The purchasing professional can audit a supplier by performing a formalized on-site audit of the supplier's facility. Another way is an informal audit, which is just a visit to the supplier's facility to get a feel for how the operation is running. The things that should be looked for is whether the workers appear to be busy or not. Notice if the organization appears to be working at capacity, or are there a lot of workstations empty and not the full crew working. Also notice how management and the employees are interacting with each other. Does it seem to be a well-run organization? Sourcing is a critical part of the purchasing professional's responsibility to their organization. It is important that the 4 steps in sourcing are included when sourcing a product or service for the organization. If the process is done correctly, the purchasing professional will almost always find the right supplier to support their organization's needs. In recent years, sourcing on an international level has become a part of this process. When sourcing internationally, the purchasing professional has to be aware of the exchange rate between the country that the supplier resides in and the country the purchasing company resides in. Also important, knowing the total freight costs incurred in getting the part from the supplier to the buying company. There is usually additional time required for parts to go through customs, which adds to the lead time of getting the parts to the facility. Sourcing is critical to most organizations because it plays a role in their ability to support their customers. When sourcing a product or a service, the purchasing professional has to make sure the 4 steps are adequately covered. These steps are finding, selecting, contracting, and managing, and will help to ensure the purchasing process is carried out to support the success of the organization. Thank you once again for your time and attention, and this is BusinessTraining.com, where you can earn a master's level qualification to make more money.